Hakwadam, rise and face the east. Repeat after me in the last one, Kadash. You got. Repeat after me in the last one, Kadash. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahawah, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazahaka, Ayah, Aisha, Baharataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashemayim, Netananawa, Nakam, Bayawam, Wasalatnawa, Kabawatanawa, Kasalatnawa, Kabawatanawa, Wala'a, Bayanawa, Panasea 1, Obo, Hawashai now, Mayan, Rai, Kayar, Laka, Amalakwa, Wala'ala, Watha Parat, Lawalamyam, Hashem, Mashiach, Yahushai, the water, the Myad, Man. Abi Yahawah, we come before you, Yahushai, to thank you for the Shabbat day you have given us. Thank you for giving us another opportunity to come together and be one mind, one body, one spirit, speaking the same thing as it is written in our scriptures, which is our Torah. We thank you for bringing back Sister Malka and bringing our beloved, our first, hopefully our first second generation Israelite that will be a captain, and your host, Yahawah, Prince Asa, Yahawah. Thank you for adding a new addition to the nation of Israel. We ask that you watch over us. We ask that you continue increasing us, Yahawah. We continue being a multitude before the sight of our enemies, Yahawah. We bring terror before their eyes as we continue establishing righteousness upon the face of the earth, Yahawah. We ask that you continue guiding us on our travels. We ask that you watch over those in this room and those that's watching via live stream, Yahawah. All this we ask in your beloved Son's name, Hamashik Yahushai. Thawadath Miyad Aman. You shall be seated. All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Can somebody do a quick sound check on the YouTube? Make sure the sound is good. Everything's good. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For surely his mercy endureth forever. You know, the Most High gave us another Shabbat day, another time to repent, another time to keep his commandments. Because that's what the Most High truly wants at the end of the day. Because the scriptures talk about, the Most High is a jealous power. He's an angry power. But the Most High is also a forgiving power. We're actually going to touch a little bit on that before we go into today's portion, which is Exodus 13 and 17 to Exodus 17 and what, Captain Shamaahllha? 17, 16. And to Exodus 17, 16. So we have quite a few chapters to go over in today's portion. So we ask everybody have your notes, have your pencils, have your pad, and please share the link to friends and family so they can get this portion as well, so they can be able to tune in and get this information, because we need this information as people. So let's open up with Colossians 3:17. Open up with Colossians 3:17. So in the meantime, while we get Colossians 3:17, what did we go over last week's portion? What was going on with last week's portion? Because last week we was going over a lot of scriptures about the Gentiles, and I believe we went over Gentiles, we went over a lot of those things. All right? And then later on that day, what happened? What did the Most High do? He manifested a demon, a Harry Potter-looking demon, to show those same scriptures that you learned at the Torah portion was being used to destroy Esau's doctrine, philosophy. Right? That's why it's very important that we make sure we're paying attention during the Shabbat service. But the information you're getting here, trust and believe, you're going to need it out there. Because that Edomite, he coming with his points and philosophies, but, I know he's only 40 pounds to me. I'm a 250-pound, 6'11" bodybuilder in the spirit. I'm not going to stress a midget that look like he feels Ethiopians in the commercials in the spirit. I know I could fold them with the scriptures. There's no need to rush. There's no need to get aggressive. There's no need to not to skip away his points, because I know there's nothing he's going to say that I don't know. Because why? We study to show ourselves approved. That's why we come to the Shabbat service. We come with our questions to show, and then we go over these scriptures to show ourselves approved. So we'll be able to give an answer. Go ahead.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Yahawah, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
That's right. Let me get Nahum 1 and 2. Let me get Nahum 1 and 2. A lot of us we come into the truth. Sometimes we get overzealous with the Most High. You know, we get overzealous. Like Elijah. Elijah was a righteous brother, but man, Elijah was very confident in where he's at with the Most High God. The Most High had to check him and tell him, yo, you're not the only one left. You're not the only one left. There's 7,000 people that never bowed the knee to Baal. There's 7,000. And not that Elijah didn't know. Elijah knew there was Obadiah and Elisha. That's 2. And the other 100 prophets Obadiah was hiding. It was over 102 brothers that was still devout for the Most High. But Elijah thinking he's the only one. All right? When we come into the truth, we always keep thinking that the Most High is going to kill, die, kill everybody. But the Most High has a merciful power, even with our people. That's something we got to remember. The Most High has a merciful power. Even when our ancestors was in Egypt, was all of them righteous? All of them wasn't righteous. But the Most High made a word to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and say, listen, I'm going to take them out. But they all was righteous. But in this captivity, you're not leaving unless you're on point with the Most High. He said he's going to bring us all back. He's going to bring us to our land. He didn't say every single one is going to go back, right? The same way. Because one day, the wicked and the righteous Israelites that was here are going to be in the land of Israel together. It's just how you're going to get there. Are you going to be destroyed here and be born there? Or are you going to be transported to the wilderness and walk back home in peace? But nevertheless, you're going to get there. How are you going to get there? Most High never expounded on that point. Go ahead.
Nahum chapter 1, verse 2.
Go ahead.
The Most High is jealous.
The Most High is what?
The Most High is jealous.
The Most High is a jealous power, which is true. Go ahead.
And the Most High revenges.
Uh-huh.
The Most High revenges and is furious.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High will take vengeance
Mm-hmm.
on his adversaries.
Uh-huh.
And he reserveth wrath for his enemies.
So a lot of times we read these scriptures. Yo, brother, if you don't repent, you're going to die. Says if you don't submit, you're going to die. That's true. You are going to get judged. But it's up to the Most High to give that judgment at the end of the day. The Most High is the one who executes judgment. Vengeance belongs to the Most High. Most High is going to avenge himself. Everybody remember in Judges, I believe it was Gideon, right? Or Gideon's father. When they were ready to kill Gideon because Gideon casted down that, was it Gideon? If I remember correctly.
Come.
It was Gideon, right? When Gideon had casted down the altar of Baal, the statue of Baal, everybody in that town wanted to stone Gideon. His father told him, don't stone him. If Baal is God, he's going to revenge himself. He's going to get vengeance for himself. He's going to stand up for himself. Right? A lot of times we get overzealous. We think we got to go execute judgment. We got to curse somebody until they're ready to commit suicide. Nah. The Most High is the power. He's going to avenge himself. He's going to do it. Right? But you got to do your part. You got to continue showing mercy and compassion to your people. Because we see that spirit a lot in our people in the world where there's no mercy. I remember Captain Ahhad was telling me yesterday how a lot of our people, we don't show each other that patience and mercy. But the minute it's the white man that's in your shoes, they want to give the patient, all the patience and mercy in the world. Right? All the patience and mercy. When it's you, there's no mercy, there's no compassion. And we got to remember that. The Most High give mercy and compassion. The Most High show us, you know, that forgiving spirit. We got to be able to show our people that. Sometimes we go to these scriptures and we'll see. Go. Matter of fact, did you finish reading when you read? Go ahead.
I said, if you want me to continue.
Read it again.
Most High is jealous. The Most High revengeth. The Most High revengeth and is furious. The Most High will take vengeance on his adversaries. And he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Right,
the Most High will do that. A lot of times we get it conflated, like the Most High hates wickedness. They hate evil, wicked people. You gotta hate your brother. You still gotta show him love. The Most High hates the sinner, right? He hates that individual. He can have hatred towards you. You guys should still show your brother love at the end of the day. Because we're commanded that in the scriptures. Let me get Ezekiel 18 real quick. Get Ezekiel 18 real quick. Let me sign in the scripture real quick.
Ezekiel chapter 18.
I want you to start from verse 18.
Verse 18. As for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which is not good among his people.
Matter of fact, let me see something. Actually, I want you to start up. I want you to start from verse 1.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 1.
Go ahead.
The word of the Most High came unto me.
Read a little louder.
The word of Most High came unto me.
Go ahead.
Again, saying,
Go ahead.
What mean ye that you use this proverb concerning the land of Israel?
Go ahead.
Saying, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge.
Go ahead.
As I live, saith the Most High Power, ye shall not have occasion any more to use this proverb in Israel.
Go ahead.
Behold, all souls are mine. All the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine.
So the Most High letting us know all lives belong to Him. Right? Your life belongs to Him. Your son's life belongs to Him. Your daughter's, everybody's souls or lives belong to the Most High God. And it's in His possession, whether what He want to do with it, rather certain Jesus decided to uplift you for righteousness, or He use you to go do something wicked to bring judgment on a city or bring judgment to somebody. Go ahead.
The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
The soul that what?
The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
So that's something that we understand. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Because give me Romans 6:23 real quick. Because we already understand the wages of sin is what? Yeah. So one way or another, you pay for your crimes, which is true. The Most High is just power. He do believe in justice. You do pay for what you do. But it's up to the Most High. He gives us the determination of how much somebody get paid. When He leaves judgment in man's hand, when He gave us the Torah, He gave you a limit, right, and what you can and cannot do when you're establishing judgment. The Most High never leave it to our hands to say, oh, the Most High is never going to deal with you forever. Oh, your child got to die if you were a thief. There's no judgment like that. He gave us all the judgments, all the law, statute, commandments that He gave us to how to determine how to judge some situation, how to order something aright. Go ahead.
Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is death.
Go ahead.
But the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Mashiach Yahawashi, the one.
Now let's go back to Ezekiel 18.
Ezekiel 18, verse 4. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and hath not eaten up the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither hath defiled his neighbor's wife, neither hath come near to a menstruous woman.
Matter of fact, go down to verse 20. You can stay down to the point.
Verse 20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteousness shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. So
basically, what is the scripture telling us? What's the scripture telling us right here? Ezekiel 18 and 20. Everybody's alive this Shabbat, right? Everybody's alive this Shabbat, right? Because you never know. The Most High might manifest somebody to actually this next week Saturday at camp. Somebody going to manifest an Edomite or blonde hair and blue eyes, the most perilous devil, to ask you this. What is the scripture telling us? It's telling you what it's saying. What is it telling us? No, man, what is it telling us? Brothers on the left side, what is it telling us? Ezekiel 18 and 20 telling us? Read it again.
The soul that sinneth.
The soul that what?
The soul that sinneth.
The soul that what?
The soul that sinneth it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
So the Most High is telling us, because we know the Most High would judge somebody 3 to 4 generations, right? He judges. We get paid for the sins of our ancestors.
We were ancestors.
Because we were ancestors, right? But in a situation when man is judging, can I judge you for what your son do?
No.
Can I judge your son for what you do?
No.
You got to pay for your crimes. He got to pay for his crimes. In the eyes of the Most High. The Most High showing us just judgment. Go ahead.
Verse 21. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live.
He shall surely what?
He shall surely live.
He shall surely who?
He shall surely live.
And this is the point that we got to remember. Right? When our people's in the worlds, you got to have mercy because they could always repent. They could always change. Even the loudmouth Eves, even the homosexual Jakes, even the heathen lovers, they could always repent and change. Go ahead.
He shall not die.
He shall not what?
He shall not die.
Go ahead.
All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
So the Most High is not happy when he has to do this to his people, man. It doesn't please. It's just like a parent.
Right.
What parent is happy to have to whoop your behind because you wanted to act a fool in school? What parent got to do that? Now they got to think of how they got to whoop you. Now they got their back about to strain because they about to bring it past 90 degrees with the belt on your backside. What parent want to go through all of that, man? They rather you just do what? They rather you just obey.
It's
They
just
rather
in the moment. It's just in the moment.
Right. They rather you just listen the first time. Go ahead.
Saith the Most High Power. And not that he should return from his ways and live. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned in his trespass.
So let's imagine somebody who's righteous, like let's say Captain SHAMWAAHLA. He decided to go back in the world and go commit wickedness. So just say everything he did for the last 10, 12 years is erased. Like all of that is gone. It's like as if you never did it. Even brothers in the truth do that. You know, they'll be in the truth for about 5 years. They left the truth because they dropped their sword, right? The world enticed them to go back. And figuratively, they dropped their sword in war, right? And they come back in the truth and say they were in the truth for 15 years. No. The minute you fell out of the truth, the minute you decided to go back, all of that is erased in that side of the Most High God. All those records is gone. It's blotted out. You've been in the truth for 1 year. You feel me with the Most High? It's like you start back at square one.
Refresh.
Right. It's like you refresh.
Yeah.
Because you committed all that wickedness. You was in the truth. You committed all this wickedness. Went back in the world. When you come back to the truth, all of that is gone. Right? It's like you starting from square one again with the Most High God. Again. And that's how the Most High will treat you like such. Go ahead.
In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, in them shall he die.
And then he shall die. Let's go right into the portion. Exodus 13. So what happened last portion, family?
Egypt stay getting played out. So Egypt getting played out.
All right, so I ask the questions then. What are the plagues that the Most High gave Egypt?
Hail.
All right.
Mingled with fire.
All right.
The plague of boils.
Okay.
Darkness.
What else? Frogs. Lice.
Water turning into blood.
Water turned into blood.
And death to the firstborn.
And death to all the firstborn.
And swarms of flies.
And swarms of flies. What are the miracles the Most High gave Moses to show the people?
Turn the staff into a snake.
All right, turn the staff into a snake. What else?
Right. Oh, the hand in the bosom.
Okay.
Right.
What happened when his hand went into the bosom?
When he took it out, it was leprous as snow, and put it back in, and then he took it out again and went back to his other flesh, original flesh.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. What else can we talk about? What are the laws pertaining to the Passover?
The lamb must be roasted
Mm-hmm.
and not sodden or made into like soup-like form. It has to be roasted.
And if you look at the lamb, you have a lot of fat. So when you grill it, like you roast it, all that fat drops out. But when you saw that it's in the grill, whatever, they set up and give your blood, clog up your lungs, your artery, and all them stuff. So everything most of it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what else was the rules pertaining to the Passover? I'll ask this. What month does the Passover fall on? The month of Abib. Okay. When does Abib fall in, Asaph? All right. What happens on the first day of the first month?
New moon.
It's a new moon. 10 days. 10 days into the first month, what's supposed to happen?
You prepare your pick out your lamb.
Right.
Okay.
Without blemish.
Okay.
Right.
On the 14th day, what's supposed to be going on the 14th day?
Kill the lamb. The Passover.
All right. What are the things that goes into the Passover meal?
The bitter herb, unleavened bread, and the wine.
Okay. What goes on the 15th day? The Passover.
Feast of unleavened bread.
Okay. At the end of those 7 days, what's supposed to happen? Not Pentecost.
Wave offering.
What's happened at the 7th? Well, you won. That is something that has to do with that. But it has something to do with the Feast of Unleavened Bread. What happens at the 7 days?
Oh, you have to gather again.
You have to gather together and do what?
The Holy Congregation.
And close out the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, all praises to the Most High.
What happens if you have a lamb and there's too little, like your neighbor doesn't have like enough people?
Invite you over.
But if you don't like your neighbor,
What do you like the nigga?
you don't like him, man. You don't like passing with this man. Still gotta come.
So I just remember something. What are the? I believe it's only 2 of them. What's the 2 excuses you could have to miss the Passover?
Unclean.
And what else?
Too far.
Huh?
Too far.
You just said it. What did you say?
Too far away.
Too far away. You're on a far off journey,
Right.
or you're unclean. So in a situation like that, what do you do if you can't keep the Passover?
Keep the month
That's
after.
a makeup.
All right. And when's the makeup month?
Exactly. 14 days, the same as the first one.
Right.
Exactly. Come all praises to the Most High. Let's go to Exodus 13:17.
Exodus chapter 13, verse 17. And it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that the Most High led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. The Most High said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt.
So the Most High didn't have us go through the Philistines. Why? Because we're coming out of a position of servitude. But the Most High, being so wise, he said, listen, the Philistines, they're on that. They're warlike people. Goliath was a warrior. They gave us problems for over 300 years, around between, I believe it's Judges to David's time. So David finally calmed them down. They gave us problems. These people are people that was about warfare. And the Most High, knowing that we're coming out of servitude, we're coming out of being beaten, starved, lawless, there's no way we're going to be able to compete with the Philistines.
Same like now too.
Right? There's no way.
Yeah.
If we left Egypt, if we left America right now, and we're going through even some of these, the Africans y'all be seeing on the YouTube videos, some of these guys, they know how to track you from miles away. These guys hunt lions. Let alone Jake, that's scared of a pit bull in the neighborhood.
7 feet, 8 feet tall.
These guys are 7, 8 feet tall with spears, trained with spears and clubs and bows and arrows.
Pastor Moab.
Right. Pastor Moab got the monks. And they're gonna meditate you to the afterlife. We keep thinking like we're not ready for warfare yet. We gotta be trained in warfare. When the Most High took us out into the wilderness, he was teaching us, yo, this is how you guys array yourselves. This is the proper order, protocol, and etc. Go ahead.
Yeah, and even in Israel, like most of those people there, they have to spend like a year in the Jewish, we call it Israeli military too.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, so
these guys know how to get down. These guys know how to get down, and we gotta remember. Listen, we need the Most High, because lip service is not gonna get us back to the land of Israel. We're gonna have to be ready to go to warfare. We have to be ready to be used by the Most High God. Give me Jeremiah 50, I believe it's 50 and 20. We gotta be ready to be used by the Heavenly Father. The Most High can't use you when you're 300 pounds and you could barely go up a flight of stairs. You can't even go up a flight of stairs. How the hell is the Most High gonna use you to put Esau into captivity? You 300 pounds. You breathing extra hard just to go up and close your door and lock it.
You're gonna be finished.
How the Most High gonna use you to go to war? Because we keep thinking, we keep saying it to ourselves, we're gonna be saved one day. We're gonna be delivered one day. We're gonna put the nations in captivity. Listen, it takes work to put somebody in chains. It takes work to go and hunt them down from the holes of the rocks. We gotta be ready for that spiritually and physically, man. I think me and you was having a conversation about this ASAP. That most of having a lot of people work out in the truth. Everybody's starting to work out, get trained in firearms for a reason. Because the Most High is going to use us to go to war. Honestly, he's not going to have to worry. If the Most High delivers us in the next 3 years, he's not going to have to worry about that. He's chilling. You know, if you're a Levite, you might be chilling at the tabernacle. Y'all Benjamites that's here right now. Y'all better start doing these push-ups. Because the Most High, listen, he looking the other way. Yes, you, sir. Now you want to be a Levite. Listen, y'all gonna have to start doing them push-ups to get ready to go to war in the wilderness, man. To fight for the name of the Most High. So we talk about going to war against them, taking this earth back. They're not going to give it to us. We're going to have to fight. The Most High not going to do all the fighting for us.
That's true.
We're going to have to do some fighting too. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 50 and 20?
Yeah, I believe 50 and 20.
In those days,
50 and 51 and 20.
It's Jeremiah 51 and 20. Thou art my battle axe.
What did he say?
Thou art my battle axe.
What did the Most High say?
Thou art my battle axe.
The Most High say we are his battle axe of one.
And weapons of war.
And weapons of who?
And weapons of
and
war.
weapons of war. We're the instruments of the Most High. He's going to use us. The Most High didn't say Yahawah tried to go fight with Judas Maccabees to give us the feast of dedication. These brothers had to be trained in the spirit, most importantly, in the spirit, to go out and go to war for the name of the Most High. Joshua didn't have Michael the archangel come down to fight side by side with him. He had to be righteous, and he had to be physically ready to go out and go to battle, man, for the nation of Israel. That times are gonna come when we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to stand up for the will of the Most High. That time is gonna come. Go ahead.
For with thee will I break in pieces the nations.
We say with what?
For with thee will I break in pieces the nations.
So he said with you, he's gonna break in pieces the nations. So if you 250 pounds, 250 pounds, and you 5'1", looking like you a blueberry, how is the Most High gonna use you? How is Yahawah gonna use you? Who are you gonna put in chains? That's why we gotta make sure we taking care of our vessel. We gotta make sure we keeping the dietary law. We gotta make sure we go. You know, we gotta exercise. I remember Chief Minister Shagama said this: as a man, you should not feel comfortable with not being able to defend yourself. You should not be able to feel. You should not feel comfortable not being able to defend yourself. You want to marry? How many of you want wives? How many of you want wives in this room? Hopefully not boyfriends, right? Hopefully everybody's like this. How many of you want wives? Everybody here want to be married, right? Who's gonna let you marry their daughter and you don't know how to defend yourself? Would you let your daughter marry somebody who's a scary cat, who's a coward, who can't defend themselves? If Jake, you know Jake is getting bold. Jake come up and slap your wife on the bottom, and you just like this behind her.
We'll try to run game right in front of you.
Right in game, right on your woman, right in front of you. Who's gonna let you marry their daughter? Right? The Most High didn't give us a spirit of fear. Go ahead.
For with thee will I break in pieces.
He said with who?
For with thee will I break in pieces.
He said with thee, he shall break in pieces. Go ahead.
The nations. And with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. With thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider.
Go ahead.
With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid.
Go ahead.
I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock.
Let me get Numbers 24:16 as well. Let me get something, the prophecy the Most High gave us in the Torah. Because that time is going to come. You know, that time is going to come when we're going to, listen, it's going to stop being a spiritual fight. Right now we got spiritual captains and officers. Eventually you're going to have the physical ones and going to go out to war. Listen, I don't mind being a soldier. Most I just tell me go out where who to get and I'm going to go get it. You feel me? I don't mind, to be honest. But understanding that we believe this thing so much, we got to prepare. Because your faith is in your what? Your faith is in your works. We say we warriors from the Most High. Your faith is in your works. Go ahead.
Numbers 24:16. He have said, which heard the words of the Most High.
So this is Balaam. Is everybody at Numbers 24:16? I want you to start from verse 15.
Numbers 24:15.
Everybody at Numbers 24:15? Everybody say, "Clan, I don't want to come" when you're at Numbers 24:15. Because that spirit in warfare, the Most High, when you come into this truth, the Most High put that spirit of warfare in you. That spiritual warfare. You understand? And that spirit of, you know, we're not cowards. Of course, you know, I'm a strong believer, and I believe this. I don't fight fair. You feel me? You come against one of mine, 5 of us are gonna be on you. There's no book of war. There's no rules of war. That's it. You come against one, you come against all. Right? You come against one citizen, that's initiating war. There's no fighting fair. So I don't know how anybody else moves with that. You know, if somebody I don't care if it's a 5-foot midget going against Captain SHAMWAAHLA, right? And he could easily conquer him. The minute he went against SHAMWAAHLA, he went against all of us, and he will be treated as such. That's the same thing with the nations. The nations go against one, they're going against all. Right. In that situation. A brother could listen. It could be an Ethiopian who looks as slim as his damn menorah. He go up against Captain Ahhad. I don't care if Captain Ahhad could just knock him out. We splitting him, just out of the sheer disrespect of him going against an Israelite brother. Go ahead.
Numbers 24:15.
Go ahead.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor have said.
It's like it. Cap, you ready?
Yeah.
Ahhad, Yamyan, Yashua. Yahawah Shem Yashua Kata.
Faziwan, Banoya, Banyasha, Yabashua Tom?
We at Numbers 24:15.
All right.
All right, let's give the Most High a round of applause. We got the legendary in the house, right? We got the shining brother. Shining like Moses right now. Numbers 24:15.
No, they get it right down with
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 24, verse 15.
Go ahead.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said.
So he's receiving a vision from the Most High. But everybody remember the story. Balaam was trying to curse the children of Israel.
Right.
But what did the Most High keep doing? He made him bless the children of Israel. So he's dealing with the Most High. The Most High showed him something through the Spirit. Go ahead.
Verse 16. He hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now.
Say, I'm gonna see him, but not now. Because he didn't see that vision he's seeing, he's not seeing it right now.
Right.
He's talking about future events to come. He's gonna see these things when they happen. So that lets you know that also backs up a little bit of reincarnation. Because how is he gonna see him in these times if he's not here? Unless he is here. Or hopefully. Go ahead.
I shall behold him, but not nigh.
Go ahead.
There shall come a star out of Jacob.
There should come out a what?
A star out
A star
of Jacob.
out of Jacob. Who's the star out of Jacob? It's a Mashiach Yahawah. All right, go ahead.
And a scepter shall rise out of Israel.
What does that scepter represent? Rulership. His authority is going to come out of Israel. Go ahead.
And shall smite the corners of Moab.
And he's going to what?
Smite the corners of Moab.
He's going to smite the corner of the Moab. That means Yahweh is going to go to war against who? Moab. Moab is going to get it too. Go ahead.
And destroy all the children of Sheth.
Which are Hamites. Go ahead.
And Edom.
And who?
And Edom.
And what?
And
And
Edom.
Edom. Who's Edom? Esau, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
Shall be a possession.
Go ahead.
Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies.
So when it says Seir is going to be a possession for his enemies, let's see who understands prophecy in Jeremiah and in Obadiah. What does that mean? For anybody read those books, Jeremiah and Obadiah, what does that mean? Because when Edom is exterminated, somebody's supposed to possess their land. Who's supposed to possess their area? You know what I'm talking about now, right? All right, let's get that precept. Once you get it, let me know.
Mount Syria.
Yeah, when they exterminated, it said that them of the blankety blank shall possess the blankety blank. Go ahead.
And Israel shall do valiantly.
And Israel shall do what?
Valiantly.
Now, what does that indicate to us right here? That Israel's going to do valiantly. I mean, when Yahawah is going to war, who's also going to be going to war? We're going to go to war. We're going to go fight. We're going to have to take them down. We're not going to be sitting down drinking Kool-Aid in the wilderness. Right. In the you know, like the scriptures talk about the damn, I just read it in the Kings the other day. What do they call it, man? The pavilion, drinking wine and stuff like that. We're not going to be in a pavilion drinking wine. While the Most High and Yahweh shall do all the fighting for us. Right. We're going to have to go out and go battle. Did anybody could give me a rough estimation of how long it took us to go start going to battle in the first wilderness? How long? Did it take us 5 years before we started going to war? Did it take us 3 years? 3. You sure? Anybody remember? Let's give a rough estimation between 2 to 3 years of us first going into the wilderness. Yeah. All right, so it wasn't long. Right? I really want to say 2, because the tabernacles was reared up and started being used within that second year, and then that's when we started going at the war. Shortly right after that. Right. So it didn't take long before the Most High said, "All right, now it's time for y'all to go fight. Now it's time for y'all to go fighting for my name on this earth." You understand what I'm saying? So we don't know how the Most High might do it this time. He might say, listen, after a year, it's time for y'all to choose your captains, officers, go out to fight. Imagine you be eating Hot Pockets and McDonald's all your life in America. You don't want to work out in the wilderness because you think the Most High going to do some fairy odd parents magic for you. Right. Listen, you're gonna see the Father shortly in that wilderness, right, in war. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be he that perish forever.
So let me get a number, Isaiah 11 as well. Because throughout the scriptures, it talks about these prophecies, how Israel's going to have to fight, how Israel's going to have to battle. Go ahead, and you can get Isaiah 11. I want you to start, matter of fact, you can start from verse 11.
Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 11.
Is everybody at Isaiah 11:11? These are the scriptures. What if somebody tell you it should all be peace? All right? What if a Christian comes and tell you that? It's all going to be peaceful. Israel's not going to fight. We're all going to be one. But this scripture is just prophecy showing that Israel's going to have to fight these nations. How is Esau going to be adopted with this prophecy that we're going to have to annihilate them and fight against them? All right. These are things that you bring out. You could bring out as strong points. Go ahead.
the book of Isaiah 11, verse 11.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria.
So did that ever happen? No. Go ahead.
And from Egypt.
Assyria. So when you go into Assyria, where's modern day Assyria?
I think Iraq or Iran.
Where's modern day Assyria?
I believe it's Turkey, right?
Modern day Assyria, let me see something. Is like the southeastern Turkey and Iran and a little bit of Syria. Right? Where you have some of the remnant of our people there, like we got the Afro-Iranians, right? The descendants of some of the slaves that was brought there and up in the mountain areas of Iran and etc. And you have our people there. There's a brother by the name of Elder Paraza who goes to Turkey and teaches our people that's there. So there's a remnant of our people in these areas. Most I say, redeem them, take them out. Go ahead.
And from Egypt.
And from Egypt, because in ancient times, one of the biggest diasporas of Israelites were found where? Egypt. What's the name of the city? Right, Isa? What was the name of the biggest city that had the most diaspora of Israelites in Egypt? So it's Alexandria. That had a big, almost concentrated number of our people that was there.
Yeah, that was the capital of the Greek Empire.
Right. Let's go ahead.
And from Pathros, and from Cush,
Go ahead.
and from Elam,
Okay.
and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
From all those islands of the sea. When you go into India, in the south areas, the Siddhis, which is another remnant of our people. Go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel,
Go ahead.
and gather together the dispersed of Judah. From the four corners of the earth, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
So what is he telling us? That the fighting's don't stop between the kingdoms.
That's right.
Which we know that we're still fighting, so these things didn't happen yet.
Right.
So shortly after he brings peace to us again and we're united, what's going to happen? Go ahead.
Verse 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines.
What did he say?
They shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines.
So he said we're going to fly upon the shoulders upon the Philistines, right? Actually, I want you to read that in the NLT. What does it say right here? Because I like how it's written. Right?
Isaiah 11, verse 15.
Start from verse 14.
Verse 14. They will join forces to swoop down on Philistia to the west. Together they will attack and plunder the nations to the east. They will occupy the lands of Edom and Moab, and Ammon will obey them.
So what is this talking about? This talking about warfare is going to happen.
Conquest.
This talking about conquest is going to happen again. But for us to get to this point, what we got to do? We got first and foremost, we got to keep the commandments of the Most High.
Right.
First and foremost. And second, if we really believe we're going to be saved, we got to start moving like we're about to be saved. I mean, you can't be all like this, eating like 5 plates at the new moon, and you came into 2 push-ups. Right? You telling your rib to submit, and you shake at the first sign of a leaf inside the crib. You can't be like that. Go ahead.
Marco, what was that show with the white supremacy people?
Oh, it was called, I took a picture of it.
So we were watching this show, and essentially, of course, us who kind of live in Florida.
Hate Thy Neighbor.
Okay, yes, called Hate Thy Neighbor.
I think I've seen that before.
America's Far White.
America's Far White, right? So sometimes we don't see pure Esau a lot. What I mean by that is that country, redneck, like moonshine Esau, right? We kind of seeing city Esau or some of the Edomites who grew up in our neighborhood, so on and so forth. But during the episode, they were speaking and talking truth in the sense they were saying that black or non-white people are going to try to take over their country. They're going to try to take over rulership. They're going to try to take over, period.
Right.
So in their mind, they're coming up with ways to how to combat that. So they see the need to preserve their race. They see the need to preserve their people. So don't think for a second that they're not seeing what's happening with us, and they're saying, okay, well, guess what? Those race wars are around the corner. So whatever they're doing to prepare, we don't too much worry about it because we know that we have the Most High on our side. But at the end of the day, it's natural for any people to want to preserve the lifestyle of their people because they're in rulership right now. So of course they feel as if they lose this rulership, then they have to go down to being servants. Who wants to go from being in rulership to service? That's nobody in their right mind wants to do that. And of course, all the other nations, they're looking at Edom, they're looking at Esau's demise, but only not for our benefit, but for them to then be in rulership. So at the end of the day, that's the plan that's being hatched on the other side.
Right.
So when we read all of these things, thank God that He has a plan for us to overthrow them, because Jake is not sitting down planning on how to throw the other nation, overthrow the other nation. Average Jake is not sitting down thinking about that.
You're thinking about 2K.
Exactly. He's thinking about how do I get a piece of their pie still. But the Most High is showing us that no, it's not going to be that. You guys are going to be on top. So thank God that He has that in play for us, because the other nations, that's what they're thinking about. That's what they're thinking about. So I just wanted to land me back on that. Isaiah 11 and verse 15. And Yahawah shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea.
So that's it. Let's go right back to the portion.
God, where we at?
Let's get there. 13, 17.
13, 17?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. God. Oh, okay. The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 17. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh let the people go, that Yahawah led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near, for God said, lest peradventure the people repent, and when they see war, they return to Egypt.
Right.
But God led the people about through the way of wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up, harnessed out of the land of Egypt.
So instead of letting us go through the lands of the Philistines, of course, because the Philistines were trained, they were established in war,
Right.
He made us go through the Red Sea, right? So we don't get afraid and go back into Egypt. Go ahead.
And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, and he had straitly sworn, the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And Yahawah went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night.
So what is this pillar of fire that they're seeing?
Sure.
What are they seeing in pillar of fire?
Sure.
Is it actually fire? What is it? What are they seeing? What are they seeing? Let's read that again.
And Yahawah, verse 21, and Yahawah went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, and gave them light to go by day and night.
So this pillar of light that they're seeing, this cloud that they're seeing, are the same things our ancestors used to sing about. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming to take me home, right? It's the same thing. Because they're using words that's accessible during this time. Of course, this wasn't fire. What was it? This was light. Because they didn't have electricity. They didn't have these things to be able to keep comparing it to the best thing that they could.
Right.
If you see a big vehicle that just move up slowly in the sky, what do you know? What can you compare it to? It's a cloud. Right? That's the closest thing you can compare it to. But is it so? No. Throughout the scriptures, we see examples of these chariots. There's been many societies, many ancient civilizations that show like artwork and on their walls that they made encounters with. They seen the chariots of the Most High God. Even Esau sees the chariots of the Most High God. But let me get Revelation 1 and 7 real quick first. Let me get Revelation 1 and 7.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds.
He cometh with what?
With clouds.
He cometh with clouds. Go ahead.
And every eye shall see him.
So Yahawah is not going to come with clouds. The clouds are already here.
Right.
So the clouds he's talking about here is the same ones that we're reading about in the portion right now. It's the same things. Go ahead.
And every eye shall see him.
And every eye shall what?
Every eye shall see him.
Go ahead.
And they also which pierced him.
Mm-hmm.
And all kindreds of the earth shall wail.
And every kindred of the earth shall wail because of him.
Right.
So these chariots that the scriptures are talking about, or these clouds, it's talking about what's so-called UFOs. Right. The UFOs of the Most High God. I'm actually looking for the Independence Day description of it right now.
Gone. It's like I'm gonna go to because what the verse that we just read, the Exodus 13 and verse 21, right? When we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 1, that's the precept to show who the letter, right, is being addressed to, right? Because Paul makes a distinction about the people who he's addressing. So let's turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 1. All right. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 1. It says, moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all that passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Mm-hmm. So we see that if he's saying that our fathers passed through it, and we're reading about the Israelites, then he must be speaking to descendants of Israel. Right. So that's the precept right there that you can go to, Exodus 13:21, to precept 1 Corinthians 10:1 to show who the letter is being addressed to. Go ahead.
So I want you to read Revelation 1:7 for me, because we got a perfect visual example right now on the live stream.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Behold, he cometh with clouds.
He cometh with what?
With clouds.
So when we first look at the image or this example that we have on the YouTube, when the chariot in Independence Day, how many, by show of hands, anybody seen Independence Day? Everybody should. You see Independence Day? Mm-hmm. You seen it? So everybody should know that example. When you see the chariot first come, how it look? Right? If anybody can see the YouTube. It looked dreadful, but right now it's covering the whole, everything look black. Yeah. Like when a cloud go over the sun, under the sun, right. Everything is like that right now. Right? And we're gonna see as it continue progressing. This is a perfect example when Yahawah shall return. He comes with many clouds. It's only like many of them is in the sky. Right. He's gonna come with the multitude of them. Everybody's gonna see them. What else does the scripture say? And they shall what?
And they also which pierced him. Uh-huh. And all the kindreds of the earth.
And everybody on the earth, this is what we're seeing right now on the YouTube. Shall what?
Shall wail.
Shall what?
Shall wail.
Shall who?
Shall wail.
They're gonna wail. What does that mean? To cry. Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on? Right. He's back and he's black. Right. Go ahead.
Because of him.
Because of what?
Because of him.
And when we look at this example right now, this is exactly what our people were seeing in the chariot. Right. Right? The cloud, fire enfolding itself. This is what our people saw in the wilderness. This is a perfect example of what they said. Where do you think they got this from?
Right. Right.
They got this from the scriptures. I remember when I first came into the truth, when the brother first told me, those aliens, they're not really aliens, they're the angels of God. At first I was like, yo, this nigga's crazy. Right. And he was like, just think about it, brother. Just think about it. Who always running in the movies? White people. I was like, I never noticed that. Right. He's like, they want you to be afraid when Christ returns. Right. Brother, we don't need to be afraid. They're coming to kill them. Right. I said, that makes sense. It makes sense. They always run. Go ahead. That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
So let me get Zechariah 5. Not only is it called a cloud, right? Or a fire by night, but it's also called a flying roll. Yeah. Because when it's in the sky, what is it doing? It's rolling, spinning. Let me just finish this visual real quick. What we got on the YouTube for the family. They can continue seeing that. This is exactly what we're gonna see on when Yahawah shall return. Why do you think they have all these social media, news? All of these things were used to really push out His word. Right. YouTube was being used to push out the word. Clubhouse to destroy Christians and push out the word and unite Israelites. These things are going to be used so the whole world could see Yahawah shall return. Right. It's without a shadow of a doubt. These entities are going to be so-called men of color to redeem the children of Israel. So if anybody didn't see Independence Day, I highly suggest you go watch that movie. You should watch it again. It's that good of a movie to go watch again. Let's go ahead and read Zechariah 5.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1. Uh-huh. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
A flying what?
A flying roll. Uh-huh. And he said unto me, what seest thou? Uh-huh. And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits.
So he's seeing a flying roll in the sky. The length of it is about 20 cubits. Go ahead.
And the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
And
he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth.
This is the what?
This is the curse.
This is the curse. This is the judgment. That what?
That goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Go ahead.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off.
Everyone that what?
Everyone that stealeth shall be cut off.
Go ahead.
As on this side according to it.
Go ahead.
And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it.
Go ahead.
I will bring it forth, saith the Most High of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
So what are the chariots going to come to destroy? What's their main targets when they come when they return when Yahawah shall return? What is Yahawah's main targets when they return?
The other nations. Let's
get 2 Thessalonians 1:8 real quick. What's their main targets? That's why you gotta go precept upon precept, line upon line. When these chariots come, they're not going only for the other nations. They're coming against the other nations and every single one of our people that's against the commandments of God. Because when the scriptures talk about 1/3 of man is going to be killed and exterminated off the face of the earth, and we read Revelation, the 9th chapter. So, but let me see my verse. 33% of all living man is going to be put to death by the time Yahawah is done with what he's done. 33.3% of so-called human beings. That's how much killing is going to be done. So let's see what's going to be the main target. Let's just link that up with that.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
In flaming fire.
In flaming fire. Go ahead.
Taking vengeance.
Taking what?
Taking vengeance.
Taking vengeance. Go ahead.
On them.
On them that what?
That know not God.
So how do you know the Most High?
Keeping the commandments.
So they're coming to target who? Those that don't keep the commandments of the Most High God. That's their main target. How are they going to do it? I don't know. Are they already marking you down? Is there going to be like a color code in your spirit? And let them know, okay, red means destroy, green means beam them up. I don't know, but go ahead.
And that obeyed not the gospel of our Lord, Mashiach Yahawah.
So that's going to be their main target. This is the curse that's the Most High going to bring forth. Let's go back to Zechariah, the 5th chapter.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith Yahawah of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
Go ahead.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. I think that's it.
So stop. Let me get actually before, so I know we limited on time.
Yeah.
Let's get 2 Kings 2, and let's start from verse 10. 2 Kings 2 and 10. Because the chariots not only they're going to be used to destroy, but what else are they going to be used for?
Redemption.
They're going to be used to save our people. I want you to start from verse 9.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 9. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said to Elisha,
he said it to Elisha, go ahead.
Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee.
So this is before Elijah leaves. Has anybody read the book of Kings? The Most High let Elijah know Elisha is the one that's going to take over for you when you leave. Go ahead.
But before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
He said, let me move how you move, with two times harder though. Let me move a little more advanced than how you was moving, so I'll be able to hold it down. Go ahead.
And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee.
Go ahead.
But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire.
A what?
A chariot of fire.
A chariot of fire, which is the chariots of the Most High. Go ahead.
And horses of fire. And parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind.
He went up by what?
By a whirlwind.
By who?
A whirlwind.
A whirlwind, but what is this actually happening? What's actually happening?
No, I was just gonna comment. Some people read this and then they remember they remind them of the Greeks and like in the chariot of fire, like a boss.
They think it's actually a horse of Pegasus on fire and stuff. Isn't that Pokemon, that horse that was on fire? They think it's that. No, it's not that. Anybody seen the movie Nope? Who seen the movie Nope?
Yeah.
You seen the movie Nope? You see how that alien with the like looked like a UFO was taking people up? It's like that. It was like a whirlwind that took them up.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it and cried, my father, the chariot of Israel.
The chariot of who?
Of Israel. Of Israel.
Go ahead.
And the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them into pieces.
So these chariots are going to be used to what? To save people. They're vehicles.
Right.
This is what the Most High is going to use to redeem our people out of these lands. Let me just get Matthew 24 real quick, and then we're going to go right back to the portion. This is what the Most High is going to use. He's going to use it for destruction for the wicked and the salvation of the righteous. I want you to read Matthew 24 and 30.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 30.
Go ahead.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Right.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven.
There it is again, the clouds of heaven. Go ahead.
With power and great glory.
Go ahead.
And he shall send his angels.
He shall send his who?
His angels.
Right.
With a great sound of a trumpet.
Go ahead.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
This is how we're going to be gathered. The Most High going to use the chariots.
Right.
Because we don't know who we are, right? We don't know who our kindred, we know who our bloodline goes back to. But the angels of the Most High do.
Right.
When they gather us, we're going to be organized when they gather us.
Right.
It's not going to be you dropped off with Judah, Naphtali, Issachar. No. The same way the Most High ordered us the first time, how we're going to be ordered again.
Right.
You guys right here in the land of Benjamin to the east, you're the son of this, and that of Benjamin.
Right.
Boom. From there, we're going to be able to track our lineage from there. This is how the Most High going to do it.
Right.
Because we can't possibly know if a brother looks just like a Filipino down to the T, if he's an Israelite or not. But the angels of the Most High know.
Right. Right.
We only looking at the flesh, but the Most High's angels, they're looking at the spirit.
Right.
Let's go right back.
Go ahead. It's crazy that you say that because my little brother, I just found out that he's a Levite.
What?
Check it. His father.
You see how the Most High work?
His father was born in Venezuela, right?
Which one the one I seen, right?
Yeah. His father was born in Venezuela.
Welcome to the club, right?
So
got a priest in the crib.
So let's say, for instance, that's all he knew, right? Then he would have been from the tribe of Asher. His grandfather was born in Trinidad. So let's say that's all he knew, then he would have claimed Benjamin.
Right.
But his father was actually from Haiti.
What?
So, because my brother's last name is Joseph, and that's not really like a Spanish last name. So he found that out, and it's crazy because if you look at him today, he looks like a Northern Kingdom. It's nothing Levi about his features. Now, that's as far as he knows now, but let's say that his great-grandfather's father was from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So like Captain is saying, we assumed, right? I assumed he was from the tribe of Asher, but he acted from the tribe of Levi. All right? All praise to the Most High. So just So we just got to imagine how for us it could be from any other tribe. And like Captain saying, the Most High, Yahawah, they know that. They'll work all that out. But for the most part, we know that the Most High is coming back to save who? The children of Israel. Right. So all praise to the Most High for that, man.
All praises for that. Let's go back to Exodus.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 22. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. The book of Exodus, chapter 14. The book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 1. And Yahawah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal Zephon, before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness had shut him in.
So the Most High is letting them know the game plan again. This is what Pharaoh's going to say. Okay, now's our opportunity to go get them. They trapped, they can't move anywhere. Go ahead.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh.
What did he say?
I will be honored upon Pharaoh
Go ahead.
and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Most High. And they did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?
So they're acting like as if they don't know why they let them go.
Right.
All the judgments that Moses brought to Egypt, all the deaths that happened. This is millions of people, because we can't think it's thousands.
Right.
These are millions of people's firstborn children died.
Right.
Their cattle destroyed, their lands destroyed, water and businesses collapsed. Everything's jacked up in the country.
Right.
And they're still worrying about, okay, why do we let the people go?
Right.
Showing that this is the Most High who has control of this thing. Because the same way the Most High said, he's going to harden their hearts, same thing that we're seeing going on right now.
Right.
Right? Go,
And you gotta think about it too. We weren't the only servants in Egypt, but when we left, they took a blow. They took a hit. So now let's apply that same scenario. If let's say we were getting redeemed in the same way from America, the sports industry will fail, the music industry will fail, the food industry will fail. America would collapse. Even though Elam is here too, Moab is here too, Ammon is here too, but you take the children of Israel out of here, everything just crumbles.
right.
So even in our lowest estate of being a servant, we're still even the best at that. The children of Israel are the salt of the earth, because they're crying because the children of Israel had left. Because you could just imagine the glory or the height that Egypt soared to once we were there for those 400 years. So do you think that when the nations try to come to our defense and say, oh, America treats black people bad, they're not saying it because they really care. They're really saying it because they would rather us come over to their country, right, and build up their country for them. It's all a game of who can get their hands on the children of Israel, right? So we can never trust our enemy, even when they come with soft speech, to think that they will ever care for us in the way that the Most High will. Because all they're looking is how can we use the children of Israel to build up our country and our economy? The book of Exodus chapter 14 and verse 6. And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and the captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with an high hand. But the Egyptians pursued after them. All the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea, beside Pi Hahiroth, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. And they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord.
Right.
And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Wherefore hast thou dealt with wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?
So what is the children of Israel doing already? They're turning their backs on Moses and say, you brought us out here to die.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
Salakia. But we see before they cried unto the Most High. But then they turn around, right, and they get on Moses' case about him bringing them out. But they already know full and well it wasn't Moses' plan. This was the Most High's plan. So they cry unto the Lord on one hand, but then they really murmuring against the Lord on the other hand. And we all know what James 1 and 8 say, right? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So when you're in this walk and you read all of these things about our redemption, you also have to take in account what the Most High said our trials and tribulations are going to be. Because once you start going through those trials and tribulations, you can't start murmuring against the Lord. Yes, you like the part about you're going to receive the salvation, but it's not just going to come easy peasy, right? It's some things that got to happen first. Wickedness, it has to increase before our salvation comes. This place is going to get 10 times more wicked. We see artificial intelligence starting to come into play. That's a whole nother level of wickedness we never ever experienced before. You don't know what Esau's going to do with that, man. We seen iRobot. We seen all these other movies, right? Where things go out. Hey, next thing you know, Esau could put everybody on martial law on lockdown with the press of a button. He don't even have to send his soldiers no more. All right, put some type of AI computer in every house. Next thing you know, you lock your doors, you can't leave your house. We don't know what type of wickedness is going to come from them, man. Right? We know that Esau is the worst fornicator in the world. So we don't know what he's going to implement AI with when it comes to that type of stuff, right? And we already know who's the main target that they're coming with when it comes to this wickedness, children of Israel. Because they know, just to kind of land me back to that hate thy neighbor, white America, Esau on a small level, he thinks that it's going to be his guns and all this thing that's going to keep him in power. But the elite know we don't have to do all that. As long as we keep them in sin, they can't rise anyway. So that's the true fight that we got to look forward to. We got to be able to peep the wickedness that they're about to implement, and we got to make sure we keep ourselves from it. The book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
But what was the condition of our people in Egypt?
Right.
It's our bondage.
Who was dying in Egypt?
Right.
Yeah.
Who was getting beaten in Egypt?
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show unto you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
Go ahead.
Yahawah shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And Yahawah said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward.
So Most High say, listen, why you crying at me, bro? Let them slide.
Right,
Let them
right.
go.
Right.
Because the Most High already created the game plan already.
Right.
He told Abraham first. Who he told Abraham? He gave Abraham the game plan first. Abraham not here to see it, but what was the game plan he gave Abraham?
Pretty much that he would have to break the covenant.
Nope. Let's get Genesis 15:13.
Oh, that surety. Yeah.
Genesis 15:13. The Most High been gave the plan already. He said, why are you crying at me? Just tell him go.
All right.
It's like we seen America fall, like Captain is saying, we stressing.
Right.
We shouldn't be surprised.
Right. Right.
Right? This economy going to crash, so things are going to happen.
Right.
Can't be surprised. You know, it's crazy. I found myself talking about that yesterday, on the phone yesterday. I was like, damn, now I see why I've been asking the Most High. Now I'm starting to see it.
Right. Right.
And now it don't feel too good. It don't feel too good. Trust me, it don't feel too good, but you know America's going to be destroyed.
Right.
But it don't feel good, though.
Right. The book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs,
Go ahead.
and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Which the Most High did. Go ahead.
And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Which is true. Go ahead. That happened. Go ahead.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and shall be buried in good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again.
And they're going to what?
They shall come hither again.
In the fourth generation, they're going to come back into the land of Israel.
Right.
They're going to go right into the land that the Most High promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which we're seeing that's happening right now. Most High is getting ready to transition over to the land of Israel.
Right.
And it's going to be the same thing the Most High do with us. We're not going to go straight into the land of Israel.
Right.
It's not going to happen first. We're going to go through a trial process first to find out who's really serious, who's really about this thing for real.
Yeah.
And then we go back home. Go ahead, Cap.
Oh, that's the precept that is Acts 7:6.
Acts 7 and 6.
Yeah.
Let's get Acts 7 and 6.
Yeah. It's pretty much saying the same thing. 6 and 7.
6 and
6 and 7.
Yeah.
The book of Acts, chapter 6, and verse 7. And the word of God increased.
Chapter 7, verse 6.
Oh, 7 and 6. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 7, and verse 6. And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years.
Go ahead.
And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant. Okay, that was it.
Let's go right back.
Book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 16. But lift up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea.
Through the what?
through the midst of the sea.
So what is he going to do, right? He's going to split the Red Sea so we go through it. Go ahead.
And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And all the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And he came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel.
So right now the chariot moved from being right under, above them to in the middle between the Egyptians and Pharaoh and the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night.
So you can imagine the Red Sea is split. You can imagine those big walls of water, right? Probably there's barely any light down there.
Right.
There's noise going on. They probably see whales and the waves. They can't hear. They can barely see. And the Most High have just the light just shining forth for Israel, so Israel can continue walking the right path. And they can't move because they can't see. Go ahead.
Verse 21, and Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by the strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Most High looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took of their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel.
Right. What is that?
Let us flee from the face of Israel.
Now they realize, okay, the jig's up.
Right.
I don't know what we're doing over here. Most I took them out of the trance.
Right.
And that happens, listen, that happens to a lot of our people when they come up and scoff us, and even the heathens. The demon in their mind is telling them, scoff, 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 slap the Bible out their hands. And the minute they do something too far, that demon leaves their mind.
Right.
And they realize, what the hell was I doing before you punched them in the face?
Right.
At that point, they're looking like, yo, these waters are way up here. We don't have no light.
Right.
The wheels is off. Listen, let's go back. Let's just leave them alone.
Yeah, that's too much.
But by then, it's too late. Go ahead.
For the Lord fighted for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, and upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus Yahawah saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Most High and believed the Lord and his servant Moses.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, and verse 1.
Read.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto Yahawah, and spake, I will sing unto Yahawah, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and the rider has he thrown into the sea.
Right.
Yahawah is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. He is my power, and I'll prepare him in a habitation. My father's power, and I will exalt him.
All right.
And Yahawah is a man of war.
He's a what?
A man of war.
He's a what?
A man of war.
Right. So the Most High is a man of war. Right. The Most High created every opposition that you see, up, down, left, right. Right. He created the the hierarchy of the food chain in the animal kingdom. He created the nation of Israel to be above all the other nations. The Most High is a man of war. The Most High likes to see us fight, right? And in this fight, we have to understand who our enemy is, what is his tactic, and how to defeat him. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 12.
Start at verse 10.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the idle one,
Right.
and in the power of his might.
Mm-hmm.
Put on the whole armor of the Most High,
Right.
that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
So if you don't have the full armor of God on, more than likely you're not going to be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Because we know that the wiles of the devil, they may vary in as how the method is applied, but the method itself is just deception. But in order for you to know if you're being deceived, you have to know what the word of the Most High says, right? Just like if we go back to the story of Eve, when the serpent came unto Eve and told him that she wouldn't surely die, right, if she ate of the tree of good and evil, right? We know that was deception because the Most High told her that she would. So obviously, we have to know what the Most High said first so that we're able to understand the wiles of the devil or be able to perceive the deception that's coming from Satan and be able to overcome it. Verse 12.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities,
right,
against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So when we were in Egypt, we were fighting against Pharaoh, right? When we were in Rome, we're fighting against Caesar, right? Now we in America, we fighting against Trump and Joe Biden. It doesn't really matter who it is that we're fighting against because we know that it's a spiritual battle. We know that at the end of the day, they're going to have the same tactics that the people who we were under captivity before had against us in past times. So now for us to be able to have that strength in order for us to gain that knowledge, all we have to do is use Torah to go against the wiles of the devil. So the more we lace ourselves up with Torah, the better we are to stand against the wiles of the devil. Let's go back.
Verse 2.
Verse 3, verse 4.
Verse 4. Pharaoh's chariots and his host has he cast into the sea.
Right.
His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea.
Right.
The depths has covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone.
Right.
Thy right hand, O Yahawah, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yahawah, has dashed in pieces the enemy.
Right.
And in greatness of thy excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee.
Right.
Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as of stubble.
Right.
And with the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said,
It said what?
The enemy said.
Now it says the enemy said, right? What we about to read next is the enemy's mindset towards the nation of Israel. Yes, I'm Captain?
When you look up the word congealed, it's like ice.
It's like ice? Okay, done. So the Most High basically.
Like frozen.
Okay, all praises, right? And that's the thing about it. The Most High salvation is going to be marvelous. It's going to be something that the heathen have to be in awe about. They just got to be like, dang, that was fire how the Most High did.
Yeah.
Because look, he done took the wheels off the chariot. He done made the wall look like ice. This thing must have been a spectacle, man.
It says the Hebrew word is kwapa'ah. To thicken, condense, congeal, settle, become dense.
Right.
To be condensed, thickening, to cause to curdle, which is basically freezing up, frosting up. That's how water flows.
So look how.
I was gonna say that's something that science can't understand.
Exactly, right? No matter, because Esau, he want to try to go. He say he go to Mars, right? And they searching these things out. Listen, you can't even break this down, right? You got to figure out how this happened. Right. Let me get Nehemiah. Slakia. Let me get Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 9, because we have to understand who the enemy is, right? Understand who the enemy is. Once we understand who the enemy is, we have to then be able to understand that Anybody outside of the nation of Israel is not for us. Read that.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 5, verse 9.
Read.
Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies.
Right? So Nehemiah is checking other Israelites because we come out of Babylon, we're back in the land, but there's some Israelites who are treating other Israelites just like the Babylonians treated them. So Nehemiah is saying, this don't make no sense. Because don't we hear that today? When we talk about the injustices that the police or the Edomites or any of the nation do to us, what is their first response? What is their first response? When we complain about the injustices done to us by other nations, what is their first response? Y'all do it to yourself. So Nehemiah is saying the same thing. The Babylonians is just gonna say, look, we let them out, and they doing everything that they complain about here, they doing to themselves.
We might as well do it to you.
We might as well do it to them, right? That's how it looks. But nonetheless, we see here what? That the heathen are our enemies. So now when we go back to Exodus chapter 15, verse 9, and we read the mindset of the enemy, understand that this is the nation's mindset towards the children of Israel. Read.
Book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 9.
Read.
The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake,
Right.
I will divide the spoil, my lust shall be satisfied upon them.
Right.
I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them.
And that's the way they feel about the children of Israel. They just want to consume you, they want to devour you, they lust want to be filled. So if they do keep you alive, it's only for you to give them what they want. It's only for you to fulfill their desires. Read.
Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Yahawah, among the gods?
Right.
Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders?
Right.
Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them.
Right.
Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation.
Right.
The people shall hear and be afraid.
The people shall what?
Shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestine.
Right. Read.
Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away.
All the what?
Inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away.
Read.
Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of thine arm.
Right.
They shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Yahawah. Till the people pass over which thou hast purchased.
Right.
Thou hast bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Yahawah, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary of O Yahawah, which thy hands has established.
Right.
Yahawah shall reign forever and ever.
So what?
Yahawah shall reign forever and ever.
So we know that the Most High is the Ancient of Days, right? He has no beginning, he has no end. As we see here, we're reading an account of how it looks and feels when the Most High fights for us. So now, what do we need to do on our part to ensure that the Most High continues to fight for the children of Israel? All right, give me Sirach chapter 4 and verse 28. Because the Most High is redeeming us out of Egypt, right? All we had to do was cry unto the Most High. Sirach 4 and 28, right? All we had to do was cry unto the Most High, right? The Most High came and redeemed us out because we cried unto him. But now, we have the commandments, right?
Not only to add a precept to what you were saying before in the previous point about the enemies and the heathens and stuff like that in Nehemiah, Ezra 4 and 1.
Ezra 4 and 1, I'll give that.
He's talking about like the heathens that entered our land, the Assyrians put in our land that worship Israel, the God of Israel, to like stay in the land. And they wanted to build together with us.
Right. Ezra 4 verse 1. Yeah. All right. Book of Ezra chapter 4 verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel.
You said Ezra 4, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They came to Zerubbabel and to the children and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God, as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esar-Haddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither.
So they wanted to be a part of us building. It's like in a lot of times when we go out and teach our people, what does Esau say? what can I do to be a part of this?
Right.
That's what they always say.
Worship your God.
I worship God. I want to serve Jesus.
Right.
I want to be at the Pesach. Right, go ahead.
But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them,
What did they say unto them?
ye have nothing to do with us.
What did he say?
Ye have nothing to do with
So
us.
you got nothing to do with what the hell we got going on here.
Right.
You got nothing to do with the Passover,
Right.
the Pentecost,
Right.
the garments, the robes, the beautiful women that the Most High gave the children of Israel,
Right.
the mighty men of valor. You have nothing to do with this. Go ahead.
To build an house unto God.
To build a what?
To build an house unto our God.
Right.
But we ourselves,
We are what?
we ourselves
What?
together will build unto the Most High power of Israel.
That we were going to establish this thing. We're going to build ourselves. We're going to fix ourselves. We don't need them.
Right.
That's what Ezra's saying. We don't need y'all. Y'all do y'all thing. Go serve Baal.
Right.
Go serve Ashtaroth.
Right.
Baphomet. Go serve that. We're going to do the things what the Most High has to do in the Most High. Go ahead.
And it's funny because they're talking on like an equal plane. It's like we worship the Most High God, y'all worship the Most High God. Why can't we come together?
Right.
Because when Solomon was building the temple, he used some of the heathens to build the hardware. Right. He went to Lebanon to get the trees and stuff from the Zidonians, as inferiors.
Right.
You know, this is talking about equality and coming to worship the Most High.
Gone. Let me get Sirach 4:28.
The book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 28.
Read.
Strive for the truth unto death.
Strive for the what?
Strive unto the truth unto
It
death.
says strive unto the truth until death. Read.
And Yahawah shall fight for thee.
And say what?
And Yahawah shall fight for thee.
So we want the Most High to fight for us. As we can see, when the Most High fight for us, it's a spectacle. It's something to behold, man. It's something that puts fear on all the nations round about, man. But we have to keep the commandments. We have to strive for that truth. We know that thy law is the truth. Psalms 119, verse 142. So we have a part to do. That's the biggest thing that we have to understand. We have a part to do. So in going over this Torah year after year after year, let's say the Most High blesses the children of Israel, man, with just 80, 90 years of life, man. That's Torah 90 times in your life, right? Especially our children that's being born in the truth. That's Torah. The way they're gonna be able to break down scriptures, they're gonna make us look like nothing, man. By the time they hit 20, 30 years old breaking down scriptures, man. They're gonna be 12 years old breaking down Revelation, man. Right? That's what we gotta look forward to. Because when we start to see that, that's when we know that our redemption is near, man. Let's go back.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 19. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea.
All right.
And Yahawah brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea.
Right.
And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand. And all the women went out after her with the timbrels and with dances.
All right.
And Miriam answered, Sing ye to Yahawah, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea.
All right.
So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days into the wilderness and found no water.
Right.
And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Marah,
Right.
and meaning that it's not something that was able to be drunk in. Just like you can't go to the lake right here and drink that lake water.
Yeah.
You'll die.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with the water. Now it's actually bitter, but it's something that can't be drunk in. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink?
What did he say?
What shall we drink?
So now, they just seen everything that the Most High just did. They sang a song about it.
Right.
Now another problem arises, right? And they look at Moses, right? And sometimes, every time we read this, you gotta feel for Moses, man, because Moses had to be as humble as he was in order to do with the children of Israel. Because the children of Israel don't make it easy, man, right? The children of Israel don't make it easy, but they turn to Moses. They asking Moses what they should drink, man, right? But we know that the Most High is the one that gives up our provision, right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse. Let's start at verse 16, I believe.
You suffer to eat hunger, right?
No, about how he gives us the power to get wealth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 8 and I believe it's
17.
It's 18.
Yeah, it's 18, but yeah, start at 17 though.
The book of Deuteronomy,
Uh-huh.
chapter 8, verse 17.
Right.
And thou say in thy heart, my power and the might of my hand
Mm-hmm.
has gotten me this well.
As what?
Has gotten me this well.
Read.
But thou shalt remember that Yahawah thy power,
Mm-hmm.
for it is he that giveth thee power to get well.
Right.
That he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
So we have to understand, anything that the Most High promised to us, it has to come to pass. So obviously, the Most High created the human body. Obviously, he knows that it needs water. So obviously, if we have a problem where there's no water, who should we go to? We should go to the Creator. We should go to the Most High. Because in order for him to establish the promise that he made to our forefathers, we have to make it to the land. We're not going to make it there if we don't have no water. Right? So in understanding that the Most High gives us this power to gain wealth, right? The Most High gives us this power to do everything on this earth that needs to be done. So if the Most High is telling us to go and to inhabit the land, well, guess what? He's going to give us everything that we need in order to complete that. All right, let's go back.
Verse 19. And it should be, if thou do at all forget.
No, go back to the.
And he cried unto Yahawah,
Mm-hmm.
and Yahawah showed him a tree,
Mm-hmm.
which he had cast into the waters.
Right.
The waters were made sweet.
Mm-hmm.
There he made for them a statute and an ordinance,
Mm-hmm.
that he proved them.
Right.
And said, if thou will diligently hearken to the voice of Yahawah thy power,
Mm-hmm.
and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee,
Right.
which I have brought upon the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
For I am Yahawah that healeth thee.
Right.
And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water,
Mm-hmm.
and 70 palm trees.
Right.
And they encamped there by the waters.
Read.
Chapter 16.
Mm-hmm.
And they took their journey from Elim,
Mm-hmm.
and all the congregation of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin,
Mm-hmm.
which is between Elim and Sinai.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 15th day
Right.
of the second month,
Mm-hmm.
after the departing out of the land of Egypt.
So how long have we been out of Egypt at this point? How long have we been out of Egypt? Well, according to what we just read, how long have we been out of Egypt at this point? It says on the 15th day of the second month. So how long have we been out of Egypt? No, it would be a month because we left on the 15th day of the first month. This is the 15th day of the second month. So we've been out a month now. All right, read.
Verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
Read.
And the children of Israel said unto them,
Uh-huh.
would to Yahawah we had died by the hand of Yahawah in the land of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
when we were sat by the flesh pots,
Mm-hmm.
and when we did eat bread to the full?
Mm-hmm.
For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
All right, so like let me get that scripture where it says forever learning but never coming to the knowledge.
Oh, can I?
Because
Not send to me, please.
we have to understand something, right? When they didn't see any escape when the Egyptians were coming towards them, they cried out, right, as a nation unto the Most High. They didn't have any water. They didn't cry out unto the Most High, but Moses did. So we see two instances, but we see that the problem got fixed when they cried unto the Most High, right? Yet another problem arises after these two examples that they saw that crying unto the Most High works. They resort to murmur. We cannot be like that. We cannot have the stubbornness of our forefathers. We have to see that keeping the commandments give us good success and prosperity. We have to see that the commandments builds households. We have to see that the commandments builds brotherhood and sisterhood. We have to see that. We cannot go and try to figure out another way to bring our people back together. Keeping the commandments is the only way. Read that for me.
And just to add on to it, a lot of us are going over to the 30s club. So if the Most High says, from the age of 20 and up, only us are going to make it.
Right.
We all finished.
Right.
So we can't have time to murmur when we go back into that wilderness. It's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and 7.
Read.
ever learning
Uh-huh.
and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
Say it again.
Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
So we can't have all these examples, right? Our forefathers didn't have the scriptures, but we do. We have all of this knowledge in front of us. We can't be reading like some. I know a lot of our brothers who come out of jail. They be like, I read the Bible back to front, or front to back 9 times, and they come out and they do the same thing, and then they go back. So everything that you done read 9 times over, you never thought to yourself, maybe I shouldn't go back to a life of crime. Maybe I shouldn't go back and do the same thing that I did before. So they keep going back to the murmuring, knowing that the murmuring doesn't work. We can't have that spirit because that's a spirit of unbelief. Anytime you're going through something, you have to go to the Most High. And it does take time for you to gain that faith to say, you know what, when I pray to the Most High, I'm going to just leave it alone. You can't pray to the Most High and then try to sneak behind your prayer and just go and handle it yourself. What you pray to the Most High for, you should just do that from the jump. So everything that we see our forefathers doing, we can't forever learn from their mistakes, but they never come to the knowledge that the truth is we have to depend on the Lord for everything. Let's go back.
Verse 4. Then said Yahawah unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you.
Right.
And the people should go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it should come. This is a test.
Right.
So, and it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto the children of Israel, that even then ye shall know that Yahawah hath brought you out from the land of Egypt.
Right.
And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of Yahawah, for that he heareth your murmurings against Yahawah.
Right.
And what are we that ye murmur against us? And Moses said, this shall be when Yahawah shall give you in the evening flesh to eat,
Right.
and in the morning bread to the full, and that Yahawah heareth your murmurings when you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against Yahawah.
But against who?
But against Yahawah.
When we murmur, right, we don't murmur against our leaders, so to speak. We murmur against the Most High. So the Most High said, okay, y'all wanted water? I led y'all to a place that had wells full of water. Drink to your fill. Y'all want flesh? And y'all want bread? Don't worry. I got y'all. But the way we go about asking for the Most High, we have to ask earnestly, right? We have to ask with humility. We have to draw nigh unto the Most High, and the Most High will draw nigh unto us. We have to start to implement those things. Because when our children grow up and see the way we approach the Most High, it can't just be like the Christian church. It can't be we just pray and say whatever, and then there's no action behind it. All right? Give me 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3 real quick. You can't just say the prayer and then there's no action behind it. You can't talk about all this faith and then you don't ever show faith. Because children are very observant. You know, with some children, when you do something and you take them over to your family member's house, they tell the whole story from what happened from morning to night. They remember every detail, right? And you try to whoop them to get them to stop, but they only gonna tell it later on when they stop crying, right? Read that.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3.
Read.
Talk no more exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth.
Don't let arrogancy come out of your mouth. How arrogant do you have to be to murmur against the Most High? How about the Most High just take away your ability to even make sounds, and now you can't murmur at all? Right? How about he just do that? So you don't have to hear you murmur. How arrogant did you have to be to murmur against the very man who gave you the ability to speak, the ability to see, the ability to move your limbs, the ability to have the strength to walk out of Egypt? Read.
For Yahawah is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
By him actions are weighed, man. Right now, your actions are showing that you don't have no faith. Right now, your actions are showing that you're very ungrateful. Right now, your actions are showing that you forgot everything that I just did for you against your enemies. I'm pretty sure we're smarter to know that the destruction of our enemies is a very good thing. I'm pretty sure that we know no matter how much wealth or money or status we gain, if you gain it in another man's country, you're really nothing. The poorest man in Russia is richer than LeBron James because at least he has a country and a land to call his own. Right? The poorest man in China is richer than LeBron James because he can call China his home. He can wake up and see his people. We can't do that. Anything that we gain in another man's land. Right. If he wants to take it from us, it's nothing we can do to stop him. So how arrogant do we have to be to complain unto the Most High for destroying our enemies, for some of our people who want to save the heathen to come with us, right? And have the same status that we're going to have when we're back in our land. That's arrogance. Let's continue reading. Go back to the portion.
Verse 10. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake, the Yahawah spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even you should eat flesh, and in the morning you should be filled with bread. And you should know I am Yahawah your power. And it came to pass that at the even quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, and as small as the ore frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna.
It is what?
It is manna.
Read.
For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which Yahawah has given you to eat.
Right.
Give me 1 second. So just give you a little kind of a physical description of the manna. I'm reading it in the NLT. When the dew evaporated, a flaky substance, as fine as frost, blanketed the ground.
Gone. So it was like wafers, so to speak, right? It was like wafers. So the Most High gave us the quails for the flesh. He gave us the manna for the bread. All right?
Verse 15. No, verse 16. This is the thing which Yahawah has commanded. Gather it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of the persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. And he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. 1 second.
We'll go, once we get to the next two verses, we're going to see how our people, man. You know, it's easy to follow a command when it lines up with what you wanted to do anyway. it's easy though. It's like, all right, cool. You want me to do this? Right? Just like you know, when you woke up in the morning and you probably had a little bit of sniffles or whatever, and your mom said, you know what? Just stay home. You ain't got to go to school today. You know, there's no argument.
All right.
Because as soon as you go to work, I'm hopping on this game.
Right.
As soon as you go to work, I'm doing something, right? I'm not doing my homework, packing none of that. I'm going to go play this game, right?
This is the amount right here.
Okay.
When this is an omer, read it in NLT.
All right, come on.
Exodus 16:16. These are the Lord's instructions. Each household should gather as much as it needs. Pick up 2 quarts for each person in your tent.
Right, so for each person, 2 quarts of the manna, right? So the Most High gave that direction, and he told them, listen, go out and get the manna. They did it, right? They did it by the omer measurement. Now read.
Verse 18. And when they did meet it with an omer, he gathered together. He that gathered, no, actually I read that part. Verse 19. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
So here you go now. You gathered it, but don't leave anything over till the morning, right? They was cool with the gathering, but now Moses said, don't leave nothing till the morning. Let's see how the children of Israel respond. Read.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses.
They did what?
Hearkened not unto Moses.
They said, listen, this manna is fire. I'm not wasting nothing. I'm going to save it over till tomorrow.
And going to Proverbs 3 and 5, you got to trust in the Most High.
You got to trust in the Most High. Right? You have to trust in the Most High. Because they didn't know what was going to happen when they left it over. All they knew was, Moses, I don't know what you talk about. I'm going to keep this manna. Read.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not to Moses,
Mm-hmm.
but some of them left of it till the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and it bred worms and stank.
Right.
And Moses was wroth with them.
Exactly. Now Moses is wrong because now everybody tent stinking up. Right. It's a stench in the morning. Right. Because we know somebody done left the manna over till morning. Right. Now we got to figure out who it was. Right. Now we got to figure out who done left the manna over till morning. Right. So it just goes to show you, it's easy to accept the command when it already aligns with what you want to do.
Right.
But what about if something that you don't want to give up? We see that it's only in the end, it's going to be bitter, right? Worms are going to... Okay, go on. All right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that on the 6th day,
Mm-hmm.
they gathered together twice as much bread to omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Mark 15:42. And now when the evening was come, because it was the preparation, that is the day before the Sabbath.
Right. So the day of preparation, you're supposed to be able to cook. You're supposed to cook double because on the Shabbat you cannot cook. So the Most High is showing us here that the day of preparation, prepare double portion for your eating because you cannot cook on the Shabbat. Go back.
Verse 23. And he said unto them, This is that which Yahawah has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahawah. Bake that which ye shall bake today, and sieve that which ye will sieve, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Right, read.
And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
And that's the power of the Most High's word. On one hand, he said, don't leave it till morning, and it stink. And when he said, do leave it till morning, it don't stink. Because that's what the Most High said was going to happen. Read.
And Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto Yahawah. Today you should not find it in the field.
Right.
6 days you should gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none.
Is that what they found?
They found none.
They found none because the Most High said it was going to be none. Right. So I don't know what they were looking for. Read.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?
Exactly. Read.
See, for that Yahweh has given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of two days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day.
All right.
So the people rested on the 7th day.
Well, they realized, there's no man out there. I guess I'll just rest. There's no man out there anyway. Read.
And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like the wafers made with honey.
Right.
And Moses said, this is the thing which Yahweh commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before Yahweh to be kept for your generations. And the Yahweh commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came into the land and inhabited. They did eat manna until they came into the borders of the land of Canaan. Chapter 17.
So verse 36. I'll just read. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah. Verse 7, chapter 17. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin, and their journeys, according to the commandment of the Most High, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Most High? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt? To kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst?
But is that the purpose though? Most High made the oath. He said he'll bring them to the land of milk and honey. They grew up hearing this. That's what you got to remember, that the children of Israel grew up hearing these things. How do you think Noah knew what righteousness was? He grew up hearing righteousness. How did Isaac know about the Most High? He grew up hearing it. Jacob, he grew up hearing it. Moses and them, why they remembered Joseph and his bones? They grew up hearing, yo, when one day y'all gonna leave, take Joseph's bones too.
Right.
These are things that's rehearsed in their ears that they're growing up hearing. You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead.
And Moses cried unto Yahawah, saying, What shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And Yahawah said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thy hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because the chiding of the children of Israel, because they tempted the Most High, saying, Is the Lord among us or not?
So they're questioning the Most High with them or not,
Right.
even though he was with them in Egypt about 3 months ago.
Right.
Right? He gave them water when they first came out. He flooded the Egyptians. He gave them manna. He gave them quail.
Right.
But they're still rebelling against the Most High.
Right.
So when our people lack faith in the Most High, not only that, we didn't understand what it meant to be a nation.
Right.
This is what the Most High is teaching. It's not easy to become a nation.
Right.
Where you got to be your own officers. You got to be your own captains. You got to be the one that administer your own laws.
Right.
You got to choose your own leaders and have integrity with your leaders. You got to obtain the laws of your nation. The upkeeping of your citizens. All of these things that we're learning, and that should be in our minds. When we say we want our own kingdom, it takes work to have a kingdom and keep it running.
Right.
It's gonna take work, and most importantly, it's gonna take faith in the Most High and trusting His instructions, because that's what our people lack, is faith in the Most High's instructions.
Right.
Because He showed them signs. Okay, I'm with y'all. Why did He continue fighting against Moses and Aaron? They literally just told him, well, who are we for y'all to fight against us?
Right.
They ain't nobody.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand.
Right here. Do something real quick. That's Exodus chapter 17. Right?
Yeah, 17 and verse 9.
Let's see if we get a timestamp on that. We left at chapter 12, right? That's 1446 BC. 17 is what? 14. Within the first year of us going to wilderness, we got into our first battle.
Yeah.
Now, if we're going to be going through the same thing again, you should probably expect what in the first year?
Right. Battle.
Battle. That means you cannot be overstuffing yourself with Wendy's and 444s and etc. If we know we're going to have to fight, we're going to have to fight our enemies. Because these are things to expect. These things are all rehearsing itself again. So within the first year, we had to go to war and battle. So let's keep that in mind. Let's go right back.
So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy. And they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua.
So he said, write this event, right, when Amalek went against us. Because when Moses is keeping his hand up, we're winning. When Moses keeps his hands down, we're losing the battle, right? So he said, write this down in a book and remember it. Make sure you teach Joshua this, because this is foreshadowing that who's going to be Moses' successor. Joshua will be successor. He's the one that's going to be in charge. And eventually somebody got to carry out this will the Most High is writing down. Go ahead.
And so, like, for I will utterly put out the remembrance from Amalek
What
from
he's
under
gonna do?
heaven. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
He's going to completely wipe them out from under the sun. Go ahead.
And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi.
Yahawah Nissi
Nissi.
in Hebrew. Go ahead.
For he said, because Yahawah had sworn that the Most High will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
So he promised that he would always have conflict with these people each generation. That's why there's no peace where Amalek's at. They always have no peace with the Most High because he promised that they would go war with them, continually going to war with them. During the time of Saudi, we went to war with them. In the wilderness, we went to war with them. In the early 1900s, they was going to war with Hitler trying to exterminate them. Now Iran is giving them issues, and etc. And Ukraine and all these other countries is giving them issues because the Most High promised he would go to war with them. Until we go in there and we exterminate them. Because when you look at Amalek right now, is the Canaanites in the land of Israel right now? You could say those are like the modern day Canaanites. The Most High is leaving into the land of Israel. They're building up the land. They're taking care of our land to a certain degree. And then who's going to come in there and take them out? We're going to come in there and take them out. But this time we're going to follow instructions and exterminate every single one of them. We dropped the ball last time, but this time we're going to make sure we follow the instructions. So it's very similar. In ancient times, the Canaanites, they spoke a kind of a similar Hebrew to us. The ancient Canaanites. It's not a strange thing that these people over there in the land of Israel are speaking Hebrew, a dialect of Hebrew as well. Most High is leaving them in there for us to take them out. So let's give the Most High a round of applause for the Torah Portion.
Gone. So let me check the announcements. They allow you to do the praise? No. So we do have our town hall meeting today. Town hall meeting is a time where the congregation is able to bring forth any concerns, any suggestions, anything that will help us, be better as a body in bringing Jacob back to the Most High. So if there's anything, that you want to voice that will better the light of Zion in this walk, in this truth, please, let your voice be heard on today. And town hall meetings are always the first Saturday of every month. Sisters class is going to be on Thursday, February 9th via Google Meets. And the time is going to be at 7:30. Once again, that's February 9th at 7:30 p.m. You know about this money pool? Let's see the money pool right now.
I think you just put Kadash's number. I think they say put his number down so they can reach out to him for information.
Okay, so we do have a money pool going. If you want more information about it, reach out to Captain Kadash. And he'll be able to explain a little bit more on how it goes. Treasure Coast, our Treasure Coast location, they are doing a raffle. Is Captain Bayoff heading up? You can reach out to Captain Bayoff for more information on that to purchase the raffle tickets. The HAD department, they do have what's called elite cards, and it just gives you certain the elite cards. What are those specifically for?
That's if you're a HAD member, like you basically, if you purchase a card, you get like an incentive every week.
Okay, so it's basically an incentive card.
Yeah.
All right. And you could definitely
okay,
and who would they have to reach out to for
any
that?
one of the members. I know my email's a member, Sister Maxine's a member, Malachi's a member.
If you want to know more about the ad department, on the sisters class on February 9th, you could definitely get more information on that. And then we do have Purim coming up. 1 second, let me get the date for that. Purim is going to be March 4th and March 5th. This is a time that we remember how the Most High delivered us from the decree in time under the Persian Empire, where there was a decree sent out that all the Israelites should be killed. And through Esther and Mordecai, the Most High was able to reverse that the Israelites shouldn't be touched. So we now have a memorial in where we go ahead and cast lots, and we give gifts throughout our nation just as a memorial for the Most High's protection and provision. Other than that, you can donate to our Cash App at $TheeLOZMDC. Once again, at $TheeLOZMDC.
Yes, like it. So we're gonna celebrate the feast of Nicanor too, or?
Yes, Nicanor is Slaki. So Nicanor is March 3rd, and then March 4th and 5th is Purim.
Yes.
So the next in March we have 3 Memorial Days: Nicanor, March 3rd, Purim, March 4th, and March 5th. So with that ends the announcements. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns from anyone?
Any questions with the Torah portion today?
Any question on the Torah portion? Any more clarification? Please, family online, if you do have any type of questions or anything like that you need more clarification on, please just write your comment down in the comment section on the YouTube, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with any more clarification pertaining to your question. Other than that, I want to say Admonium or Panya Hakadam, rise and face the east. This is the covenant between Yahawah and the children of Israel. Read and repeat Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 16. This day Yahawah thy power,
This day Yahawah thy power
hath commanded thee to do these statutes and judgment. Thou shalt therefore keep and do them with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Thou hast avouched Yahawah this day to be thy power and to walk in his ways and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and to hearken unto his voice. And Yahawah hath avouched thee this day to be his peculiar people, as he hath promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments, and to make thee high above all nations, which he hath made in praise and in name and in honor, and that thou mayest be an holy people unto the Most High thy power, as he hath spoken. Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, the water, the Yad, Aman. Our now Yahawah, we come unto you the humble heart, mind, and soul. The water Yahawah, Lord, for the blessing, Lord, of being the chosen nation, O Yahawah. The water Yahawah, Lord, for the blessing, Lord, of being superior to all of the other nations, O Yahawah, Lord. We ask, Lord, that you set our heart aright, O Yahawah, Lord, that we never murmur against you, O Yahawah. We ask, Lord, that we have the faith, Lord, of Abraham, O Yahawah, Lord. For he knew, Lord, that his seed would live, Lord, although, Lord, you told him to bring him up on the mount, O Yahawah. We just thank you, Lord, for all that you have done for the children of Israel. We thank you, Lord, for the guidance, the protection, Lord, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, Lord, that continues to preserve us, Lord, in this time, O Yahawah, Lord. For we know, Lord, that wickedness shall increase, Lord, but we also know, Lord, that our salvation is near, O Yahawah, Lord. We ask, Lord, that you allow us, Lord, to be still, Lord, and to trust in you, Lord, with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul. Amen. Most round of applause. What that? A bird hit the window?
No.